Hi, this is Tabani, and I will be rapidly answering these questions that I've received. So, what is the core, what are the core components of a virtual machine, and how can you utilize this virtualization or virtual machines in a business setting? So, the core components are virtual storage, virtual memory, virtual um, network interface card, and virtual CPU. So you use this essentially together with a hypervisor because what you're doing is you are emulating your physical computer, and then you're creating virtual hardware that you can run your operating system in this virtualized environment. And then it is great for security, it is great for isolation, it is great for testing, it is great for server consolidation if you have to apply this in a business. So those are some of the few things that you can do with virtualization or virtual machines in a business setting. To touch on server consolidation, instead of having multiple servers, you can have two servers or less, because what you can do is you can have a very good server with different kinds of good hardware that then you can borrow or emulate to run this software-based machine, a computer machine or computer system, which is a virtual machine, and then you can have multiple of these because you can also replicate them. You can also have multiple of them without them disturbing one another because they can exist just in isolated environments. The second question is what is a server role and what is a server feature, and how do you go about using that? So a server role is essentially the primary way that a server is supposed to operate. So this is the role that you assign to the server. So for instance, Active Directory Domain Services is a role that you can apply, which we know it is used for management of computers, groups, security, and things of that like. And then you could have a DHCP server as a role, where your DHCP is allocating IP addresses automatically to the computers that are in that domain. And then the third thing is you could also use it as a web server, where it's hosting websites. And then the last question is the role of Active Directory in a business, or at least in a server, to explain a little bit about that. So the role of Active Directory is obviously to provide security, is to provide centralization, is to provide management of your computers and your users in a centralized way, as I mentioned, is one of the features. So essentially, these are the core components of what we can do with our Active Directory domain services, or at least a server that has Active Directory domain services assigned to it as a role. And so what you can do is to create group policies so that you can granulate some of the features or security and policies that you'd like to deploy to these devices that are in your environment. Thank you.